Sin City? A dame to kill for. He recalls walking through the projects of Basin City, an area where he was born and raised. As it was a Saturday night, Marv remembers being at Katie's, getting drunk and checking out stripper Nancy Callahan, Jessica Alba, along with all the other men in the joint. Outside, Marv sees a man on fire running and screaming. He comes across 4 preppy college boys dousing another man with gas. Marv breaks a bottle in front of them and tells them to let the guy go. One of the boys pulls out a gun and calls Marv a Bernini boy, but Marv thinks he called him Bernie. He shoots Marv in the shoulder. When he doesn't go down, the boys get frightened and run. Marv catches 2 of them on the rooftops, aiming their guns at him. 2 arrows come down, and Marv knows who's near. He makes a gesture to show he's on their side, and then points at the boys. 2 more arrows hit them. Marv meets the 2 boys and asks the one that shot him why he called him Bernie. The boy says Bernini is the maker of the coat Marv is wearing. Marv then calls for a knife and slashes the boy's throat, while the other one takes another arrow. Marv then hijacks a cop car and chases after the other 2, ramming into their car and bringing him to where we found him. He steps on the last boy's chest and crushes his lungs before lighting up the gas and blowing the cars up and fleeing the scene. Johnny takes Marcy out for a night on the town. While walking the streets, they're followed by 2 thugs. Johnny tells Marcy to step aside while he handles them. He punches one thug in the face and grabs the blackjack from his hand, then beats the other thug before finishing off the first one. A limo pulls up. Johnny tells Marcy to meet him at a hotel. He gets in the limo, where Rourke and his men are sitting. The goons beat Johnny's face, and Rourke hands one of them pliers to break Johnny's fingers from his dealing hand. They throw Johnny out of the limo. Rourke steps out and admits that he knows Johnny is his son, but he only ever considered his deceased son, Rourke Jr. the yellow bastard, to be his own blood. Rourke shoots Johnny in the leg and leaves him there to die. As he and his men leave, Johnny vows revenge on Rourke. Dwight feels a sense of rage overcoming him. He warns himself not to let the beast out. At home, he gets a call from a familiar voice, one that he hoped he'd never hear again. Ava Lord, Eva Green. She has him meet her at Katie's. He wants nothing to do with her, but she begs him for forgiveness and protection against her husband Damien. Dwight indifferently says he forgives Ava and tells her to leave. She pulls him in for a kiss, and he's hooked. Manute, Dennis Haysbert, enters and threatens Dwight before taking Ava away. Marv, watching from the bar, offers to step in for Dwight. He tells Manute this isn't Marv's fight. Manute takes Ava with him. Dwight goes to Ava's home and takes pictures of her as she swims naked in her pool. Manute's men ambush him and hold him down, while Manute brutally beats Dwight. They toss him out of their limo as it's still moving, leaving him in front of his place. He sees his Mustang parked outside. He goes into his apartment to find Ava naked in his bed. She asks to be punished. Dwight slaps her, and then they get into rough sex. Not long after, Manute appears from the shadows. Dwight punches him twice in the face before Manute punches him so hard in the chest that Dwight flies out the window. Dwight goes to Katie's to ask Marv for help. He gets Marv drunk enough to get him riled up and ready to kill. They get to Ava's home, where Marv annihilates everybody in his path. He takes on Manute, where the 2 hulking brutes beat each until Marv knocks Manute out cold and then plucks his right eye out. Dwight enters the house to confront Damien, Martin Xokas. Damien pulls his gun on him, but Dwight beats his face and crushes his throat, killing him. Ava asks Dwight what it feels like to kill an innocent man. Dwight realizes he was set up, and Ava pulls out her gun to shoot him. She misses Dwight's hardened head, but she manages to shoot him out the window. He lands on the concrete and is unconscious. Marv grabs Dwight and puts him in the back of the car. Dwight's right eye is nearly hanging out. Marv evades the cops and makes it into Old Town. The cops don't follow them any further, knowing their limits, save for one cop who Dwight figures to be a rookie. The girls of Old Town shoot at the car and blow it up as the cop flees. Marv brings Dwight to Gail, Rosario Dawson, and her girls. Gail sees Dwight looking really messed up. She tends to him but is angry with him for leaving Old Town. Gail's girls even think they ought to just kill him, specifically twins Goldie and Wendy, Jamie King. Miho, Jamie Chung, gets her sword ready to kill Dwight until Gail reminds Miho that it was Dwight who saved her years ago when 2 thugs nearly got the drop on her. Back at Ava's home, she's interviewed by the Lieutenant Mort, Christopher Maloney, and his partner Bob, Jeremy Piven. She pretends to be devastated over Damien's death, and she subtly comes on to Mort. Bob notices the attraction and even feels a bit aroused by her. Eventually, Mort succumbs to the temptation and goes over to Ava's house to have sex with her, while also trying to find Dwight. Dwight ends up calling Ava's home, which makes her tense. Mort drives away with Bob, who berates Mort for the affair. Mort loses it and shoots Bob in the eye, and then throws his body over a cliff before shooting himself in the head. Dwight says this is part of Ava's seduction that drives men mad. Gail decides to help Dwight get back at Ava. She gets into a party held at Ava's home where she's conspiring with another mobster, her Wallenquist, Stacy Keach, to kill Dwight. Later on, Dwight arrives from getting facial reconstruction surgery to go back to Ava's home undetected. However, Manute recognizes him from his eyes. He takes Dwight to Ava's home, where Gail and Miho have gone to kill all the guards before allowing Dwight to reach Ava. Dwight first shoots Manute into Ava's pool, and Gail throws a bomb that blows up and gets glass across Ava's face, scarring her. Ava shoots Manute down for good and then tries to seduce Dwight again. They kiss one last time before Dwight shoots Ava. She slowly dies, and Dwight plans to take the backstreets with Gail and Miho to get out of there undetected. Johnny is remorseful for his quest for vengeance as it has gotten Marcy killed. He goes to a diner and meets the waitress Bertha, Lady Gaga. She gives him $1 out of sympathy. He takes it to Katie's and hits the slots again for a rematch with Rourke. He deals with his left hand this time, being ambidextrous. Rourke taunts him about his mother, calling her a whore. Johnny loses and accepts his fate as Rourke lifts his gun and shoots him in the head. He has his men get rid of the body. Nancy sees hallucinations of Hartigan telling her that he'll never leave her. It begins to haunt her mind as she can't bring herself to kill Rourke. She has a nightmare that he is in her room, threatening to kill her. After performing onstage, Nancy smashes her head in the mirror and grabs broken glass, cutting her face. Later, she gets stitched up and is confronted by Marv. He offers to help Nancy get to Rourke. Outside Katie's, 3 thugs come in with guns. Marv grabs 2 guns from one thug, knocks him out, and shoots the other 2. Nancy finishes off the last guy. Nancy and Marv make their way to Rourke's estate, where Marv once again slaughters his way through all the goons, while Nancy kills some men with her crossbow. They make it inside, but Marv is wounded. Nancy gives him a cigarette and lets him sit this one out. She makes it to Rourke's room and sees him. She shoots at him, but it's just a reflection. The actual Rourke shoots Nancy in the side and taunts her. He shoots her 2 more times before deciding where he should shoot her, since Hartigan shot his son in the groin. Before Rourke can deliver the final shot, he sees Hartigan in the mirror, throwing him off. This gives Nancy a chance to grab her gun and shoot Rourke in the shoulder. It brings him down, giving Nancy another clear shot. Rourke looks at her in horror as she says, "This is for John Hartigan. Fucker." Blam.